Good friend on and a good guy, Rob Tanner,
Yes.
is here with us from the Leicester Mercury because Riyad Mahrez is the big story.
That's right.
Still tonight going into
Certainly
the weekend.
is.
Leicester are taking on, of course, Swansea City. Nobody knows for sure whether Mahrez is going to be back or if he's going to be back or when he could possibly even turn up for training. Rob may have the answer for us. Rob, very good evening to you.
Good evening, guys.
Thank you very much for joining us. Do you? I suppose the $64,000 question first of all. Do you expect Riyad Mahrez to play for Leicester ever again?
It's hard to say at this point, but I would expect he will be. I think the club are going to give him plenty of time to get his head right. It's obviously a very sensitive situation. I wasn't expecting him to be in training. There seemed to be some sort of shock that he hadn't been in training at the end of this week, but I don't think anybody at the club was expecting him in. It was the right decision as well. He's got to sort out his head. They don't really want an unhappy player around the camp when they're preparing for another game on Saturday as well. So I think they're going to give him a bit of time, then they're going to open a dialogue with him and his representatives and try and sort a way forward.
I mean, Rob, what on earth were the Leicester City owners stroke management thinking about? You bought a player for £400,000, you had an offer that went up to $65 million for him to move on and progress his career, and that would not have caused huge ructions in the dressing room, which have now been caused. Did they get this badly wrong? Because I think they did.
I'm afraid I have to disagree with you. It's irrelevant what they paid for him at the time. £400,000 at the time. Since then, he's turned into the player that we all see now at Leicester City. They've developed him. They took a punt on him when nobody else would.
And how much do you think he's worth?
Especially Arsenal. Well, I would agree with Leicester City's assessment. He's worth £80 million when you think what he's achieved. He's a Premier League winner. He's a Ballon d'Or top 10 nominee. He's still only 26. He's got 2.5 years left on a...
and he's wrecked morale. He's wrecked morale in the dressing room because he's still there.
No, he has not wrecked morale, Rob. I believe that actually he is the guy who has let the club down. He's let the fans down. He has not in any way accepted that Leicester, as you quite rightly say, Rob, were the ones that made him what he is. And he signed a contract to play for Leicester City. Why should he expect to leave?
Signed contracts.
Doesn't matter. I'm talking to Rob. He knows what he's talking about. Go ahead, Rob.
I can see some sympathy for Riyad. He wanted to go and play for Pep Guardiola. Not so much Man City, but, it's Pep that's the man, the Barcelona connection. And I'm sure he will get that opportunity at some stage. But I agree with Leicester City. It's not like Liverpool when they got rid of Coutinho. They've got Firmino and Mane, and they've got so many other great players, Salah. Leicester City have one Riyad Mahrez. He's so important to them.
One Riyad Mahrez.
Yeah, all right, don't start singing.
One. Yeah,
for God's sake.
But Rob, for goodness sake, we all know now he's going to go in the summer, right? And I tell you what, he may not go for anything more than 65 million. So what's the point? What's the point, Rob, answer this question, please. What's the point of retaining a player who is so thoroughly fed up with his employers, who's so thoroughly fed up with life itself, he's just going to cast a dreadful, doom-laden blanket across the team that were champions of England only over a year ago?
Well, look at it this way as well. If they'd taken what they consider to be terribly below their market value for their star player, what sort of message would that send out? When they're trying to sign future players, does it show anything about their ambition?
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. And it's a great... And I've got a great tweet here, Rob, from somebody called Robbie, who says Riyad Mahrez should try and see the bigger picture. He was being brought in to merely cover Leroy Sané, Gabriel Jesus and co. No sooner are they fit again, he will be a bit part player in cameo roles. They showed no interest in him ever until last week. I think he should take that into consideration as well.
Oh, exactly. I mean, he's a superstar at Leicester City. Him and Jamie Vardy are the two guys that are so integral to how they play and the team's identity.
Yes. And
I think Leicester City just hope they can turn his head back round, just get him focused again for the rest of the season to get more out of him, and then look at the situation again in the summer. This wasn't really the time for him to go in the middle of the season when there's still so much to play
Rob,
for.
his head's gone. He's no use to Leicester anymore. You've destroyed him.
Hang on, maybe Manchester City are to blame here, Rob, as well. Don't they take some blame here?
Well, yeah, I would say so, but that's the nature of the beast. It's, cutthroat in the transfer window. But, Mahrez wanted to go last summer as well, and they turned him around, and he's performing well, so why can't they do it again?
Because it's the second time he's been kicked back. This boy, listen, Rob, if the biggest...
He's totally aggressive today.
Hang on.
Shouting at Rob.
Hang on, Rob. If the biggest newspaper in the world came to you and said, Rob, you're a star of sport writing, come and join us and we'll multiply your salary by 3 or 4.
But you'll never get everything in the paper.
And your employees at the Leicester Mercury, right, a fine newspaper, said you can't go, you'd feel bitter and resentful.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, you would, wouldn't you, Rob?
I'll tell you what, though.
And if you don't, you're not ambitious. Eh?
I would turn up for work the next day.
Exactly right.
Would you?
Exactly, yeah, because you see, Porky has
company man, eh?
No,
company man.
No, Porky, company man. Porky always has sympathy.
Mike, the difference is I've got a mortgage to pay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you'd pay it off a lot easier if you were being paid 4 times what you're being paid now, wouldn't you?
No, you see, Porky...
I've still got to show professionalism.
That's exactly right. Porky knows nothing about professionalism. He is always on the side of the bitter and twisted man who's out for himself and himself alone, trying to better himself.
Well, nobody else is going to look after me in this
world. Actually,
world.
that's wrong. I've been looking after you for far too long. Here's the situation, Rob. The guy should have been loyal to the club. He will now presumably just sit there, not go to training. They'll stick him in the youth squad and train with them. You'll be paid a substantial amount of money to not play football. And as Mike Parry said, he'll be handed off somewhere for less money in the summer.
I hope that's not the case because Riyad loves his football. He is one of those pros that he wants to play. And I think that in a couple of weeks when the dust has settled and when they've had a chance to sit down and have a conversation with him and he's got a good relationship with Claude Puel, I think you'll see Riyad Mahrez playing towards the end of the season and playing well again. And then in the summer, I think you'll see him moving on.
Well, what's the point of hanging on to him then? If you're saying that,
Because he's under contract to them.
Value for him, Mike.
Well,
50 million plus a 20-year-old kid, they value at £15 million. He's only played 20 senior games in English football.
Yeah.
But that was the offer.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, Rob, that the amount of damage it's going to do to morale at the club is infinitely more costly than another 10 million quid. Really, it is.
What about this though, Mike? It was Riyad that didn't turn up to training the day before a game and caused unrest then.
Yeah.
It's Riyad that's causing the problem. It's not Leicester City that's caused this problem.
Leicester have caused the problem by not letting him go and stopping the natural progression of a very good footballer to achieve his potential in life. We all have to have the right to achieve our potential.
We've all seen that you administer yourself to the belief that you can do anything you like and nobody else has to worry about the collateral damage. Vis-a-vis Mr. Silva and Watford, right? Everton make an offer for a manager that doesn't actually want to leave the club. They're thereby unsettling him, making him feel nervous about his future, then loses the plot at the club and he now loses his job. And Watford were very clear in saying that was Everton's fault, right?
But that's the football food chain.
No, it's not.
That's the way the football food chain works, Rob, and we have to get used to it. I mean, look, I'm sorry, but your situation, Rob, is that you are clearly a local boy from Leicester.
How do you know that?
No, I'm not, I'm afraid, Mike.
Where are you from?
I'm from Birmingham.
Birmingham, well, that's very close by.
No,
I mean,
it's not. It's very different.
The only difference is East and West Midlands. You're still a Midlands boy, okay? So you're there in Leicester. Clearly, you've got the interest of the club at heart, as you should do, because you're the senior writer for the club.
Are you a Leicester supporter, Rob?
I'm not a Leicester fan, no.
There you go. So you got both of those things wrong.
No.
Straight off the top.
So what I'm saying is...
So he's not from Leicester, and he's not a Leicester fan.
Yeah, well, all right, but I mean, apart from everything else...
0 for 2. If you get another one wrong, you'll have to walk.
I mean, you live in Leicester now, don't you, Rob?
No, I live in Tamworth.
What do you mean you don't live in Leicester?
Tremendous.
You're supposed to...
It's brilliant.
You're supposed to be covering Leicester City Football Club. Where do you live? Edinburgh?
Tamworth, he said.
Hey?
Tamworth,
yeah, that's not a bad
30
term.
miles away.
Do you remember where the pigs escaped from the slaughterer's van?
Well, believe it or not, Rob, when I was on the Birmingham Evening Mail...
Oh, let's have a story about your career.
No. And I used to run the regional news
desk.
No,
you didn't.
We had 2 reporters in Tamworth. Yeah, it's a nice town.
You know, Rob, what you should do is you should go and research some of Mr. Parry's stories from Birmingham, and we'll find they're all cobblers as well.
I don't think so.
But anyway, listen, Rob, what do you think's going to happen tomorrow? Then are Leicester going to be deflated? Because I think this could have the opposite effect on the team as far as, just sort of building up their confidence. They might say, look, we're not going to be destroyed by this guy Mahrez. We're not going to have him ruin the, the sort of camaraderie of the club. And we're going to go out there and win it for the manager.
Well, yeah, I think everybody's hoping they're going to give that response. I mean, I think it did affect them at Everton in the week. They started pretty well, but then it was quite clear that they were missing that creative spark, and certainly that was a below-par performance.
Oh, nothing to do with Theo Walcott then, eh, Rob? Nothing to do with, the man who got a brace of goals, on his second home game, eh?
Well, he was held by some pretty poor defending on the night, Mike.
Well, I mean, listen, you can say pretty poor defending. I can say swift feet, swift mind, energetic application to his job. That's what I'd say.
Okay. Anyway, why don't we get on the subject of Everton?
Well, because Leicester played Everton this week and Everton beat them.
All right.
Simple as that.
All right. Well, anyway, so, Rob, do you think they'll beat Swansea is my question? Swansea are on a bit of a roll. Ever since Porky jinxed them by saying they were dead in the water, definitely going down, they've won every game.
Well, yeah, I think it's going to be a tough one for Leicester. They've obviously turned the corner a bit under Carvalho. But I think on home soil, and I think that you'll see a little bit of a response from the players. I'm confident of a home victory.
Okay, brilliant stuff. Rob, thank you very much
By the
indeed.
way, Rob,
I
just
do
before you
apologise. I do apologise for the rudeness of my colleague.
Just before you
Well,
go,
hurry
Rob,
up, we're running late.
And thank you for your time. If you're not a Leicester fan, who are you a fan of?
Birmingham City.
Birmingham City,
which is where he's from.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to sort of recap
hang
on
on,
the conversation between Mike Parry and Rob Tanner.
Yeah.
Mike Parry said, well, look, you're from Leicester, you're obviously a local boy, Rob. No, I'm not actually. Behind Leicester City, because you must be a fan since you cover it. No, I'm not actually. I'm a Birmingham fan.
Yeah.
Well, you must live in Leicester then, finally. No, I live in Tamworth.
Yeah. Well, I've
0 for 3.
No, I've just
Even
discovered.
for you, that is a shocker.
I've just discovered Rob is a follower of lost causes. He's revealed himself as a Birmingham City fan.
Yeah, well, he'll probably be following you soon, then, won't he? Now,
Call me, call me. Is it inside my mind? Break me, taste me. Pull me up like the northern lights. Can you hold me down for one night like I got 3 strikes? Call me, call me.